We're all used to VVIP political arrogance in this country. You know, that VVIP culture that we've all come to hate so much. Well, that never stops it, does it? And there's a new low now in that VVIP culture in Tamil Nadu. A shocking display of a minister on a power trip. Say hello to Tamil Nadu's fisheries minister, Anita Radhakrishnan, who was carried by a fisherman from a boat onto the beach because he didn't want to get his feet wet. And on the other side is the DMK sexist Neta, Dindigul Leone, who has been appointed as the school textbooks head after he made some very, very abusive comments and went viral last year. Two big DMK leaders in the news for all the wrong reasons. But we're starting with the VVIP fisheries minister, the DMK's Anita Radhakrishnan, who has been caught on camera being carried by a fisherman from the boat to the beach. Take a look at what happened. The fishermen of Palavarkadu, this historic coastal town north of Chennai, had a VIP visitor this week. Tamil Nadu's fisheries minister, Anita Radhakrishnan of the DMK. You'd think a minister visiting to get a sense of the grievances of fisher folk wouldn't mind getting his feet wet. But you'd be wrong. The minister, clad in a clean white dhoti, shirt and sneakers, didn't want to touch the water and had to be carried by a fisherman and deposited safely on the shore. The irony here, Minister Radhakrishnan was on site to investigate complaints about sea erosion in this part of coastal Tamil Nadu. Eyewitnesses on the ground say the boat in which the minister was travelling was overloaded, and the transfer of the minister to the shore took place after some persons got off the boat. But that hasn't stopped allegations of unnecessary VIP behaviour by the new Mantri.
DMK talking so big about equality, social justice and the rights of the state. There's yet another testimony that they don't walk the talk. They just to catch the attention of the people for votes. When it comes to reality, they follow a different route.
This is something ridiculous, and I think he has to apologize in front of the people, and I think this should not continue. The power is going into each and every minister's head in DMK.
State Fisheries Minister Anita Radhakrishnan caught in an act of appreciating VVIP culture. Opposition demands apology, but the minister claims that if a fisherman cannot carry the fisheries minister, who else can? Making everybody wonder if he really understands the problem.
Radhakrishnan may be the new fisheries minister, but he's had a long political career. 2 decades ago, he was a minister in the then Jayalalitha government, the DMK's rival. He was expelled by the AIA-DMK in 2009 for anti-party activities. The same year, he jumped to arch-rival the DMK. He would go on to win elections in 2009 and 2011. No stranger to controversy, he was suspended by the DMK in 2015 for greeting his former boss Jayalalitha after she received a reprieve in the disproportionate assets case. But as an election winner, he has prevailed and was made fisheries minister by Chief Minister M.K. Stalin this year. For someone who's seen so many political twists and turns, what's the big deal getting your feet wet? And shoes a little dirty. With Pramod Madhav in Chennai, Bureau Report, India Today. And on top of that unconscionable behavior, the minister actually defends his shocking display of VVIP culture and says the fisherman was treating me out of affection. And that's not all. He also adds that the fisheries minister can be carried on a fisherman's shoulder. Who else's shoulder will he sit on? Take a look.
ஒரு மீனவத்துறை அமைச்சரா வந்துட்டு இன்னொரு மீனவர் தோல்ல வந்து ஏத்த விட்டுற ஏறிக்குள்ள வராரு, இது நியாயமான்ற மாதிரி கேக்குறாங்க.
அமைச்சர் மீனவர் தோல்ல தான் ஏற முடியும், வேற யார் தோல்ல ஏற முடியும்?
இல்ல சார், தானால நடந்து வர முடியாதா? இன்னொருத்தவங்க மாதிரில ஏறி வரணுமா? இது வந்து விஐபி கல்ச்சர் அப்படின்ற மாதிரி ஒரு பிரச்சனை. என்னன்னா, ஒருத்தருடைய தோல்ல வந்துட்டு அவங்க சொன்னாலும் ஏறலாமா ஒரு அமைச்சர் அப்படின்னு கேக்குறாங்க. அதுக்கு
பாசமா யாருக்கன்னா ஏற வேண்டியதுல
இருந்தாலும் ஒரு
பாசமா யாருன்னு சொல்றாங்கல்ல, அதை சொல்லுங்க முதல்ல.
இல்ல சார், ஒரு கால் ஏதோ ஆடி
நீ முதுகு கூட நான் இதுல ஏறிக்கிட்டேன்னு நான் சொன்னாதான் தப்பு.
And that's of course not the first time that VVIP netas have indulged in this kind of behavior, asking people, their subordinates, to hold them, carry them, tie their shoelaces, carry their chappals, carry their shoes. Whether it is Dindigul Srinivasan, who asked a tribal boy to remove his footwear in June 2019, UP minister got his shoelace tied from a government employee. Then he later defended himself, citing Lord Ram. Remember all this nonsense? August 2016, Odisha minister Jogendra Behera, he made an officer tie his shoelace and said, why not? I am a VIP. This is the kind of culture that we want to kick out forcibly with violence if necessary from this country. Meanwhile, COVIDiots across the country are practically begging and inviting the third wave to come and present itself to us here in India. The latest are COVIDiots from Mussoorie to Telangana to Bihar, all uniting to invite the third wave of the COVID pandemic. Just take a look at these pictures on your screen from 4 different locations in the country. No regard for COVID norms, social distancing, at a time when India has just been through an absolute nightmare. This is the behavior of those. You can account for COVID fatigue, you can account for anything you want, but is there any explaining an excuse for such behavior? Let's take you to one of these stories. For instance, hundreds of maskless tourists thronging the Kempty Falls in Uttarakhand's hill station of Mussoorie. Take a look at this video, viral video, with hundreds of tourists seen bathing at the Kempty Falls in Mussoorie. No social distancing, none of them wearing a mask, no COVID norms and no fear of the third wave of the deadly virus. In Mussoorie, places such as the Kuldi Bazaar and Mall Road are often crowded. Nainital, another hill station, is also witnessing a similar situation due to the increase in the number of tourists coming in from Delhi and elsewhere. Apart from Uttarakhand, tourists of more than 5 lakh in number have been flocking to Himachal Pradesh as well, after COVID norms have been slightly relaxed in that state. Are these people irresponsible and graceless, inviting the third wave? Well, with the ghosts of the second wave still lingering, here's a recipe for disaster. The mad rush to hill stations in the north of India, raising the alarm bells as tourists flout COVID norms. Today it's Mussoorie, yesterday it was Shimla and Manali. 6 lakh tourists in Himachal alone since the state eased curbs. Here's our report.
It is an invitation to the third wave. Tourists are thronging the hill stations in the north. They have said no to distancing and no to masks. All they seem to want is some reprieve from the heat and the pandemic blues.
भीड़ से दूर रहने का समय निकल गया, अब आप घूमने फिरने आओ, नज़ारे लो जिंदगी के।
कोरोना का डर तो है, लेकिन घर में हम बहुत बोर हो चुके हैं बैठ बैठ के, इसलिए तो थोड़ी आउटिंग करने का मन हुआ, इसलिए निकले हैं।
दिल्ली हुई या आसपास कहीं पे भी हो, लोग ना फ्रस्ट्रेट हो चुके हैं, उनको निकलना है बाहर। और हम खुद इतने फ्रस्ट्रेट हो गए थे दिल्ली में रह के कोरोना की वजह से, लॉकडाउन की वजह से, तो एक ब्रेक चाहिए था।
Hotels are fully booked. Tourists are forced to sleep in their cars at parking lots. The mad rush to the hills has caught the government's attention.
क्लियरली दिख रहा है कि एक स्थाई पर, जिसे एक टर्म भी बोली गई है, रिवेंज ट्रैवल, कि लोग जो घर में बैठे थे, जो रेस्ट्रिक्शन का समय था, अगर रेस्ट्रिक्शंस खोल दी गई तो वायरस खत्म हो गया है। यह ऐसा एक माहौल क्रिएट करेगा जिसमें अब तक जो गेन इन टर्म्स ऑफ मैनेजमेंट ऑफ कोविड जो हमने लिए हैं, वह फिर से नलीफाई हो सकते हैं, वह फिर से हम उसको भूल के फिर हमें एक और चैलेंज का सामना करना पड़ सकता है।
Raising alarm bells over the frightening situation in the hills, the Union Health Ministry has taken up the matter with Himachal Pradesh government. Sources tells India Today.
Thousands of tourists are staying in Manali, and on weekends the tourists from the neighboring Punjab, Haryana and other states join, and they struggle to find out accommodation in the hotels parkings are full, and hour-long traffic jams are being witnessed. So this is the situation here at Manali.
The rush hour has brought some cheer to the tourism industry. But even hotel owners acknowledge the risk of flouting norms.
See, we as hoteliers, we are always requesting people to wear masks. In fact, we don't allow anyone without mask to enter our hotels. And tourists who are not carrying masks, we give them masks when they go out of the hotel. And we always request them whenever they go out, when they are on the mall or anywhere else, to wear the mask at all times. Despite that, we see, yes, some tourists we see, they are not wearing masks. And I think they should be dealt with strictly.
As daily cases dip, the urge to beat the pandemic fatigue is real. But with a bulk of India's population largely unvaccinated, the risk runs high. And to all the COVIDiots, the pandemic is far from over. Bureau Report, India Today.
And news just coming in. Heavy exchange of fire at the line of control in the Sundarbani and Rajouri sectors of the LOC after an infiltration bid from the Pakistani-controlled side has been foiled. Yesterday, one infiltrator was killed and 2 soldiers were injured in an encounter with infiltrators. Big news. This is the first firing taking place at the LOC since the 24th February ceasefire pact that came into force on the line of control. Quick word in from India Today's Gaurav Sawant. Gaurav, since February the 24th, there has been largely calm at the line of control. Last few days, things have been activated once again. Big infiltration attempts that have been foiled and now firing taking place, Gaurav.
We've had 2 soldiers who've been injured, 1 infiltrator killed, 2 other infiltrators went back. What we're also hearing is that there was a fresh infiltration bid that was made, but security forces are alert. Now, yesterday, the Pakistani forces did not give cover fire to the infiltrators, but today it's being ascertained about from different places where all the firing is coming from. And this would mean that, again, Pakistan has gone back on its word, of course, subject to verification in terms of Pakistan had said they want a ceasefire, and the focus from the Pakistani side was on the AFPAC border. They wanted that to be secured.
Yes.
But the way situation is turning, going from bad to worse in Afghanistan, there is an indication, especially with Taliban spotted in Gilgit and Baltistan, the line of control could also become hotter in the days and weeks ahead.
Gaurav, thanks very much for that disturbing development there from the line of control. You'll hear more about it on Gaurav's show India First, coming at 10 p.m. tonight. Big development after February 25th, the first firing that's taken place there.